Hey guys, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 5. I'm Court McGinley. Let's jump right into our list of the top 5 scary stories of people who disappeared and were never found. Coming in at number 5, the Soldering Children. In West Virginia, 1945, 5 of the Soldering Children disappeared on Christmas Eve night. On this night, 5 of the 10 siblings asked if they could stay up late to play with their toys. Since it was Christmas Eve, the parents agreed and let the kids stay up, and they went off to bed. Soon after the parents went to bed, the phone rang. The children's mother got up to answer it. The voice on the other end asked for someone who didn't live there, so the mother said no. And then the voice on the other end laughed and hung up. She woke up briefly again after hearing something on the roof. And then one final time at 1:30 a.m. with the realization that the house was on fire. She, her husband, and their other 5 children got out. But the 5 children who were staying up late were nowhere to be found. So the father went to grab a ladder that he kept at the side of the house so he could climb up to their bedroom window on the 2nd floor. But he couldn't find the ladder. It was later found dragged away from the house. The mother later realized that at the time of the fire, all of the lights in the house were on, the shades were drawn, and the doors were locked. Officials said that the children died in the fire, but the Solders knew something weird happened that night. They knew their children were still alive. Then in the 60s, they had a photo mailed to them with the message, "Hi Mom," attached. In this photo, they could see one of their sons who disappeared on that Christmas Eve night as a grown adult. The parents knew their children were kidnapped, but they or the perpetrator have not been identified since. And at number 4, Evelyn Hartley. The disappearance of Evelyn happened in Wisconsin in 1953, and it's pretty much straight out of a horror movie. Evelyn was a teen and she was babysitting for a family one evening. When she didn't call to check in with the parents at the appointed time, they got worried, so the father went to check up on her and found a completely locked house with the lights and radio still on. But Evelyn was nowhere to be found. There were signs of forced entry and struggle, and this led to a massive search for the girl, but she's never been found. After her disappearance, there were a few eyewitnesses who have claimed to have seen her, but all of these leads were dead ends. At number 3, the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer had a total of 5 confirmed murders, but it's expected that he killed an additional 20 to 28 people and wounded 2 others. All of these murders took place in the San Francisco Bay Area between the late 1960s and the early 1970s. The killer's identity is still unknown to this day. All of these killings, and yet no one has been charged for them. Once the murders began, the killer started to taunt the police and the local paper, the San Francisco Chronicle, by sending them a total of 4 letters. They all contained these encrypted messages, which were pretty much impossible to crack. Out of all of these messages, only one has ever been deciphered. And while these letters were taunting, they did contain a number of leads. In fact, for a while, a man named Arthur Lee Allen was the name on the top of the suspect list. However, handwriting experts were unable to match his handwriting to the cipher or various letters. Over the years, people have come forward claiming to know the killer's true identity, but so far nothing has been proven through the court. So this man just got away with all these killings and then disappeared into the night. Coming in at number 2, D.B. Cooper. To this day, no one even knows this person's real name. But on November 24th of 1971, this name was all over America. This was the day the man claiming to be Dan Cooper boarded flight number 305 in Portland bound for Seattle. While mid-flight, he opened his briefcase to show a bomb he was carrying to a flight attendant. Yeah, back then security checks weren't as intense, so you could get a bomb on a plane. He proceeded to hijack the plane and gave the go-ahead for it to land in Seattle. Once on the ground, he let the 36 passengers go, demanded $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and food. He also said that the rear door was to remain open and for the plane to fly low and slow. Once he got everything he asked for, he, along with the flight attendant and the pilots, took off from the Seattle airport with these marked bills. 45 minutes into the flight, somewhere north of Portland, he exited the rear stairs and jumped out of the plane and into the night. Law enforcement officials did have 5 different planes tailing the jetliner, but apparently not one of these planes witnessed the jump. Hundreds of people were interviewed, the FBI tracked leads across the nation, and the aircraft itself was scoured for evidence. But in the end, it was no use. D.B. Cooper was gone. 9 years later in 1980, just north of Portland, a young man was digging a fire pit, and he uncovered 3 bundles of cash. He turned them over to the authorities, and they discovered these serial numbers matched the bills that were given to Cooper. Still to this day, no one knows this man's true identity or what happened to him, and it remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in FBI history. However, earlier this year, some people claimed that D.B. Cooper was actually a former CIA operative named Robert Rackstraw, and Robert just so happens to be alive and well living in California, but at this point he hasn't been charged with anything. And in at number 1, Tara Calico. On September 20th, 1988 in New Mexico, 19-year-old Tara was off on one of her daily bike rides, only this time she never came back. It's widely believed that she was kidnapped. When she hadn't returned, Tara's mother set off to look for her along her normal trail, but all she found was pieces of Tara's Walkman and a cassette tape. Several people also said that they saw Tara on her bike ride that day, but no one witnessed her abduction. But some people did say that they noticed a light-colored pickup truck was following her. Months later, on June 15, 1989, a Polaroid of a young woman and a boy being gagged and bound was found in a convenience store parking lot in Florida. Tara's mom thought that the woman in this photo was Tara due to her appearance, and the fact the woman in the picture had an identical scar on her leg as Tara did. After this, more photos seem to have surfaced of a female bound and gagged, but these photos have not been released to the public. The female in these photos was again suspected to be Tara, but the little boy in the photos remains unidentified. Later, these photos were analyzed by Scotland Yard, and they concluded the woman was indeed Tara. The FBI then analyzed the photos, but their results were inconclusive. Then in October of 2013, a 6-person task force was established to re-investigate the case. But as of 2018, no arrests have been made and the case remains open. Alright, there you guys go. That's our list of the 5 scary stories of people who disappeared and were never found. Let me know what other lists you'd like to see down below. Don't forget to show us some love by subscribing to our channel and giving this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.